doesn't love samosas? Hi everyone, I'm Karen Ahmed. Welcome back to my channel. The crispy exterior of the samosas together with the tasty filling makes it absolutely impossible to resist. Today in this recipe, we're going to be making beef Kheema Samosas, and I'm also going to pair this with a homemade wrapper. This is going to be made really easily by using a template. Before I show you how to make these, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every week, and ring the bell, that's YouTube's new bell icon, that will notify you every time I upload a new video. Now, let's get started. Let's start by making the wrapper dough so we can give it some time to rest. I have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour here, and I'm just going to give this a quick sift first. Sifting the flour is really important as it's going to get rid of all of the lumps. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and a pinch of Ajwain. Ajwain is known as Caraway or bishop's weed in English, and it's great to prevent acidity and indigestion. I'm also going to add 4 tablespoons of melted ghee or clarified butter. You can also add oil if you prefer. I'm going to spend some time really working on this dough till all of the ghee is coated with flour. Take your time with this. The flour mixture should feel like soft breadcrumbs. You can only really do this with your hands. The fat in this dough will create the crispiness in the wrapper. If you're planning on making a vegetarian or vegan version of this samosa and you don't want to use ghee, you can also use a vegetable shortening instead. Finally, I'm going to add some water. You can use anywhere between a half cup to 3/4 cups of warm water, and just use just enough to bring this to a stiff dough. The less water you use in this, the crispier the wrapper will be. Now I'm going to cover this with some cling film, and I'm going to leave it to rest for a minimum of 30 minutes. Next, I'm going to work on the Kheema filling. This can either be minced lamb, mutton, beef, or even chicken. I have some Kheema of minced meat here, and I'm just going to allow it to relax while I heat up some oil and I saute 1 cup of diced onions. Add 2 tablespoons of minced green chilies, and now I'm going to add a teaspoon of ginger and garlic paste. Give this a stir just to remove that raw ginger and garlic taste, and I'm going to mix this in with the onions and the chilies. Next, I'm going to add 1 cup of diced tomatoes, and I'm going to mix this in as well. I'm also going to add 2 teaspoons of garam masala. I'm using my own homemade blend for maximum flavor. I will leave that link at the end of this video as well as in the description. I'm also going to add a half teaspoon of red chili powder. Mix this in. I'm just going to add a few tablespoons of water so the spices don't burn. This masala base is now ready for the 2 pounds of Kheema or minced meat that I'm just going to tip in. Break this up so there are no lumps. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water just so it builds enough steam for the ground meat to cook. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm also going to add a 1/4 cup of peas. Mix this well and continue breaking up the lumps if there are any. I'm going to cook this for 5 to 10 minutes till all the liquid has absorbed or cooked off. Taste for salt and add more salt if required. Lastly, I'm going to add a quarter cup of finely chopped coriander and I'm going to mix this in. Allow this mixture to cool completely. You can also make this a day ahead and use this as a cold filling. It's now time to work on the dough, and to make this process easy, I've created a template. I took an oval object and just gave it a bit more height. I just did this freehand on a piece of card and just cut it. This template will ensure that I get the same size samosas. Typically, most people roll their dough into an oval, they freehand and cut it, and this template just makes your life a lot easier. You can also make any size you like by printing this off on your computer. I have my dough, filling, template, rolling pin and stone ready. I also have oil, as this dough is already pretty stiff. We won't be using any more flour to roll it out. I'm going to knead this dough again, and then I'm going to divide it in half and then in quarters. Working on the first quarter, I'm going to oil my surface, and then I'm going to oil my dough, and I'm going to roll it out till it's a few millimeters thick. Once it's thin enough, I'm going to use my oval template and I'm just going to cut around it. Don't worry about these scraps, I'm going to use these later. Cut this oval in half. I'm also going to give this a light roll again, as the gluten rests, it's going to keep contracting and shrinking. Using plain water, I'm just going to dampen the edges. Now, watch closely. Taking the flat edge, I'm going to seal the two edges together till it forms a cone. I'm going to add my filling using a small spoon. My samosas take about 2 teaspoons, and it will depend on the size of samosa you want to make. I'm going to press the filling down using a spoon to make it nice and tight, and then I'm going to hold it together in the middle where the dough wrapper is the longest, and I'm going to press to seal the entire samosa well. Press it down and it should be able to stand up just like a soldier. Look how amazing this looks. I'm just going to keep this aside now, and I'm going to work on the next semi-oval. Again, dampen the edges, fold in half to make a cone, stuff and seal. I'm going to keep going till I have all of my samosas done, and I will also re-roll the scraps of dough at the end. lined up. I got about 12 to 14 samosas from this batch. Now you can either fry these right away or you can freeze them for later. I like to fry these right away while the dough is nice and fresh, so into the piping hot oil they go. The oil is now really hot, so I'm going to add a few more. Once golden brown, they're good to remove on some kitchen towel to drain the excess oil. If you find that your oil is getting too hot, just turn it down. If you notice that the seal is starting to come apart, press them together again. Once it opens up in the oil, it's too late. If this does happen to you though, pull them out quickly, stick them in the oven until the dough cooks. You can serve it, but it's still edible. These samosas are absolutely delicious. You can make these ahead and just heat them up before serving. You can dunk them in chutney and enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me on Cravings with Adventures, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this delicious recipe for beef Kheema samosas. They're made in a jiffy and they go just as fast. Do make sure that you subscribe to my channel, share my channel and my videos with your family and friends. And don't forget to ring the bell, that's YouTube's new bell icon. It'll notify you every time I upload a new video. And follow me on all of my social channels. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and even Snapchat. Until the next recipe, do take care.